Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Bedminster. Mr. Trump has asked me to chair this campaign meeting. He wanted to be here, working hard with you. Truly, he did. But just not quite as much as he wanted to knock a tiny ball into holes on a golf course, or as he calls it, paying respects to the first broad I married for the 17th consecutive day. In fairness, it is one of the few things he's good enough at that he doesn't cheat. Well, not on every hole. And speaking of cheating on holes, has anyone seen Melania? Well, other than the tennis pro, hashtag be best. If Donald doesn't find out about that, Richard, you're going to have to leave.
Why?
Because you are yet to sign your proclamation accepting Donald J. Trump as your personal savior. I've called this meeting because we've had a possibly damning hiccup. Project 2025, well, not Project 2025 itself, just that people found out about it. I blame the blabbermouths at the Heritage Foundation, which wrote all 922 pages. That it got out is embarrassing. It's chock full of unpopular policies Mr. Trump plans to implement in a second term that we should have kept quiet about until he actually had one. People seem troubled by the plans Project 2025 outlines to purge the entire government of anyone not loyal to Mr. Trump personally instead of the Constitution textually. Admittedly, an idea the Heritage Foundation stole from Stalin, or the proposal to consolidate all the executive power into one man, Mr. Trump. Yet another idea stolen from Stalin, like mass deportations, promoting discrimination against LGBTQ people, and allowing the president to politically direct the judicial activities of DOJ. Yes.
Ain't that the same thing we've been accusing Biden of?
Well, now, Theodore, you know the rule. The only thing we abhor more than candor is inconvenient information. And appearances of hypocrisy aren't a bug, they are the brand. Like the only president I know who has had sex with a porn star and is married to the only first lady I know who has done softcore lesbian porn. Wants to ban porn. Project 2025 proposes prohibiting all pornography and locking up the people who make it. I'm assuming this means unless it's done one-on-one with the president. It's going to be like Mike Johnson's prudish son is watching all of us. But the big problem with Project 2025 is that it tips our hand on plans to restrict abortion and contraception access. And those are hot button items with the voters this year. So its revelation became inconvenient to Mr. Trump. Remember the rule about inconvenient information, Theodore?
Deny it.
Mr. Trump did the only thing he could do about Project 2025. He lied about it. He claimed he didn't know anything about it and disagreed with the things he didn't know anything about, which is sort of a neat trick. No? He also claimed not to know the people behind it. Okay. I know, but in fairness to Mr. Trump, not everyone knows that about 2/3 of the authors and editors involved in Project 2025 served in the Trump administration. They did so under the watchful eye of the Heritage Foundation. Mr. Trump is only pretending to be unaware of their involvement. In April of 2022, he praised the Heritage Foundation and said it would provide detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do. For those of you who don't know, Heritage is a wildly influential conservative think tank. Starting in the 1970s, it quickly rose to prominence when 60% of Ronald Reagan's policies were drafted by Heritage. Policies that promoted trickle-down economics. Still waiting, dear. It also promoted Christian nationalism, as it does to this day. As we all know, Mr. Trump was enthusiastic over the Heritage Foundation's policies as Reagan. Only Reagan actually read some of them. Mr. Trump also allowed Heritage to act as a staffing service for the White House. You know, it just occurred to me. With the Heritage Foundation controlling Mr. Trump's staffing in the White House and the Federalist Society controlling Mr. Trump's staffing on the courts, when it comes to entrenched bureaucrats controlling Washington, Mr. Trump has his very own swamp. It's just privately held. And like Project 2025, it's probably better if we keep that to ourselves.